Hello and welcome to Talking Dogs on a Monday. Of course, today we are very much talking Sporting Press Irish Oaks, but there was so much to get through, and we will touch upon as much as we can towards the end of the pod. But before then, let's say hello to our guests. As always, the Exile Dub is with us, Tommy Lyons from his Yall base, and well, it's Sporting Press Irish Oaks time, so we have to have their main man, the main man in Dublin, Declan O'Donoghue, who was at Shelbourne Park on Saturday night for some wonderful, wonderful racing. Declan, 32 years sponsoring the Sporting Press Irish Oaks. It's some sponsorship.
It is, yeah, and every year seems to be the best. I suppose, yeah, this one feels this way at the moment, but it is, yeah, yeah. We've been linked with it a long time, and long may it continue for sure.
Declan, we have to mention it. Yeah, of course, it's online now, the Sporting Press online from 8 p.m. on a Tuesday evening. So if you want to, anytime you want to pick up a paper or even go back in the archive, you can get online at any point, pay your €4 and it's there.
Absolutely, and we're in the shops as usual on Wednesday.
Yeah, I was going to say it's now on a Wednesday. There was a time it was on a Thursday, but very much now on a Wednesday. You can walk
That's
in and pick
correct,
up your
yeah.
Sporting Press in all the various usual sort of outlets. Listen, Declan, let's get started. A great Oaks from the outset. It looked like it had real strength and depth. Obviously, we lost two or three of the big names, one or two that were sort of coming back from long rests, and it just didn't quite happen for them. But we saw one or two new sort of stars emerging. But it was a dog, or a bitch, should I say, that had shown real promise of 1 or 2 points in their early career that really set the standard on Saturday night. Undisputed, obviously owned by Wayne McCarthy and Paul Prendergast, but now trained by Pat Guilfoyle. And this was a fair debut for Pat Guilfoyle, 28-20 off the front. She was stunning.
She was right back to her long time off, change of cannons. That's why she was 4-1. There's not a doubts. We know her. It was just was she perfectly fine, but she certainly was. That was a fantastic performance. It was the best night. I thought the track was running a tiny bit slow.
I agree with you, Declan. I think it was a 28-second run. I think the 28:55 sort of runs, there was three or four of them did 28:55, and they were all bitches that are capable of doing a 28:30. So I tend to agree with you, about 20 from my mind.
That's right. And first section 205 was the quickest, but I was actually across the track a few times. I was in. It's just one of these things that you just can't explain. There's no obvious reason for it, but and it was great racing. We could also look forward to the weeks ahead. That's for sure.
Yeah, Tommy, we've been saying it for a long time now since we started these things that just the female contingents in Irish racing really are holding up their end of the bargain. Again, just brilliant display after brilliant display. Some from those you expected it, some from those you didn't quite expect it from, but like from start to finish, just brilliant performances.
Yeah, and nice to see that the few of the pups coming through as well, emerging as stars as well. But there were races there where like you had a good winner and you look behind and you go, my God, there's good bitches behind as well. That's the depth of quality at the moment. It's fairly phenomenal, to be honest about it. It's hard now, I have to say, when I was looking at it after the kind of trying to take it in yesterday, the 11 heats and all that. It's quite difficult to even frame it at the moment. That many good bitches, and as you said, someone coming back and someone just didn't get looking running, and lots of different things. Um, like when you see the heat for next week, you can pretend it's only starting next week,
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
and try take it from there.
We still have 8 heats to look forward to in the second round, and lots to get into. Let's race through the heats, okay? We won't spend too much time on the heats because you'd like to look at an overall sort of sense of you can take each run on its merits, but I suppose in an overall package, you got to try and start to weigh them up against each other. The opening heat went to Droopy's Elsa. She's very much an improver, Declan, for Robert Gleeson. He had a good night, Robert. He had some nice performances from his team, and this daughter of Loughtine Blanco, well, did everything right. She's only had the 7 starts prior to this, 28:55. It was a career best display. Like, this is against what we were saying about the track, but I would suggest looking at her that it was better than the 28:55. I think she's very much a progressive type.
She is, and she's running at Shelbourne every Saturday as well. So it's a home game for her. She was 5-1, but unmatched the last time was absolutely brilliant. I can understand how she was favoured. I mean, she was away and gone, and 5-5 in Shelbourne. That is the story. Scooby Duchess broke well, actually, very well inside. She'll keep improving, coming back through.
Yeah,
It's
she
all
surely
about that.
She surely
But
will. Scooby Duchess, of course, was runner up last year. She did pop the lids, just didn't quite hold Droopy Sales into the opening corner. Unmatched, it just didn't happen for her. And again,
yeah,
she's one of the big names that crashed out because she was well up there in the betting. She was in around the sort of third, fourth in the market, and no, it just didn't quite happen for her. But a promising run by Droopy Sales and Scooby Duchess. Tommy, anything to add?
No, Druby Zelsa was good. I thought maybe the fact that Druby Zelsa got by Scooby Duchess at the first bend, I'll give Scooby Duchess the benefit of the doubt that it kind of forced her to check ever so slightly because a couple of them came around her on the outside and she ran on again nicely. So yeah, it wasn't a bad effort by the runner up, but you'd imagine too that Druby Zelsa, if she got an inside trap, she might be a bit better too.
Yeah, she surely will. Looking ahead to Heat 2 now. Quivers Magic, Declan was drawn on the inside. This was a heat where, with the exception, I was looking at the race thinking Islewood Me was probably the most likely pace setter. I don't think there was an abundance of early speed in this race. As it was, Highview Mags popped out, but just couldn't hold Quivers Magic into the opening corner. 365 ran on very strongly. A really eye-catching run from her. It looks like she's returning to something like the promise she showed last year. She, of course, has a big run over 750 yards on her card. But I think this was one for the strong runners, and Quivers Magic got first run of them. 28:35, one of the fastest runs of the night. It was a hell of a run for Anna Dunford.
she's very good and she's very strong, and in the mix coming out, she was the one to beat. You're right about 365, but she doesn't want long. I view Max ran a very good solid race on the outside, as she always does, and she'll keep improving. But a very good run by the winner.
Yeah, I suppose the fact that Highview Mags is in the race gives you such a gauge because we know exactly what she'll
Yes,
do every night. She'll do her 28:50 run every night. And okay, I know she's done 28:73 the other night, but that allows for the 20, as we were saying earlier on, like, because she
absolutely.
is
Yeah,
28:50
yeah.
on the button most nights. Quivers Magic, very strong. Don't always expect to see her turning in front, but when she does, I'll tell you what, it'll take something to catch her. Tommy, two or three good runs here. Obviously, Quivers Magic was the one that took the headlines from this heat.
Think she was third in the Limerick Oaks, was she last the previous week, and she was coming here in good form. I thought she kind of half came out slightly stumbling or kind of not in full stride, kind of nose nearly hitting the ground. As she tried to find her stride. So I think she did particularly well to hold her position along the inside. Once she did, it was over. I thought Alwyn Me, even though it finished last, she actually ran a bit better than that. She found Misty Kick showed a nice bit of pace up. She's a big bitch, 70 pound type of one that could improve plenty. But I just thought she ran into every bit of trouble. Ran a lot better than finishing last, might suggest. But Quivers Magic is classy. Like you're coming from a Limerick Oaks final into sport. This is obviously a step up again. But I'd like the performance. I have to say she can start without being a flying starter, and she stays very very well. So
Yeah, she seems to be
I like.
getting used to the better company through the career. She wasn't like she did a big run early in her career in graded company in Shelbourne Park, but like she has steadily improved, and I like that. Like she's sort of learning on the trade. Like that was her 18th start the other night, but she's certainly going the right way. And as I said, she's very, very strong. She's certainly one you could see in the latter stages of the Oaks if luck goes her way. On to Heat 3, and this was all about the early speed of Boyle Sports Coco. This lady, we've referenced her a couple of times in recent weeks. Tommy, she's improving night after night. She has tremendous early speed. She's only a September. She did everything right the other night. Got loose. Paradise Nikki Bell gave chase. Didn't happen for Crafty Kokoro. She looked all sort of at sea and didn't look like she knew what she was doing herself. Just the return after a long, long layoff. She'll probably need the run. She found all sorts of trouble down at the bottom two bends, and she finished out of the frame. Sad to see her going out. But three good bitches went through: Boyle Sports Coco, Paradise Nikki Bell, and Rafa's friend, who didn't get loose as she had done in the previous two nights in the Limerick Oaks. But I think Boyle Sports Coco was a serious Oaks contender. Certainly as we get into the summer, as the top of the ground comes along, bit of sunshine on her back, and she's young, she's improving.
This is the one of the performances, Ian, where I think that the clock doesn't tally with the effort. Um, I love the performance. It was very professional. Everything about it was right. She was dominant with her early pace. She opened up a nice gap down to third bench. She didn't really come back. It looks like she's getting a bit stronger all the time. Crafty Gikora was a bit unlucky in the sense that Breeders Wood checked off the first bend because she was shorter room, and basically barely. I mean, they just clipped the very back end of Breeders Wood. Crafty Gikora did, caused her to go off the bench. She was trying to make ground again. The second turn ran into trouble again, and that was the end of that. You would think now. I don't know what the story was with trials and all that. You would think with her trial that she was obviously in need of a run, and probably a bit unlucky.
I will say that night, the trial session, the nearest to her was something like 29.50. I think the track was well back the night she did that trial, and I think they were happy enough in terms of fitness. But you know yourself, match fitness is very different to trial fitness.
And if you're not match fit and you go onto a track that's very far back too, it leaves a mark.
Yeah.
And it can leave a mark on it. So I actually think she was going to run a fine race and probably qualify quite comfortably. Just she found so much trouble. It's always a danger with a bitch as strong as she is in a competition where you need to be ultra sharp, and that's what's needed in a Noakes of the quality that we have. But I just love the performance of Wild Sports Coco. Yet again, it's obviously going to get tougher as we go on, and the battle for the early lead is going to be frantic really. But she hasn't let us down in terms of what we've expected of her coming forward. So yeah, she's a real player.
Declan, she's got the profile of so many past Oaks winners. Just that lovely blistering turn of early speed. She's really professional. She's progressive. She's certainly in the right hands with Dolores Ruth. A note of Dolores Ruth: that's her 9th winner in a row at Shelbourne Park. The last time she's come to Shelbourne Park, last 9 times she's come to Shelbourne Park with a runner, they've come home in front. So she's certainly a lady in form. Maybe keep that going in Toaster, we'd be happy. But Declan, Boyle Sports Coco, she's certainly a leading fancy for Oaks Glory.
Well, she's my idea of the other winner actually before it, and I was amazed from Boyle Sports of all people, and she did nothing wrong at all on Saturday. She just watched. I mean, I thought I took her out of puppy out. Let's Go Bubbles is brilliant, and she's clearly a massive. Talk about her in a minute, but Boyle Sports Coco is right up there. That was a superb performance. Craft Cora lacked race experience. 5.25. A lot of things against her. Race match practice. I mean, it's one of the best that we've seen down the years. But 5.25 at Shelbourne is always going to be tough for her. And she just, everything could have went wrong. She certainly wanted, she was chasing Keane. Was caught at the wrong time, the wrong place, just unfortunate. Paradise are consistent, runs the same race every week, like Highview Marks, as you say. Delighted that Rafa's Friend is the one in some ways to take out of it, because the first one in Shelbourne, Silent Hair, she just doing Limerick and Tralee, she will improve going forward. Perhaps maybe even next Saturday she could improve straight away.
Yeah, she could.
The winner is very, very good.
Rafa's Friend did catch the eye more than one occasion down in Limerick. She's a bitch that could certainly develop into one that could get to the latter stages of the Oaks. But the winner, it's all about the winner. Boyle Sports Coco, brilliant success. On to Heat 4. And here, Crafty Shivu atoned for the defeat and the elimination of Crafty Kokoro for Peter and Brian Dively. This was professional as you like. She was even money favourite, and she popped out, made every inch of the running, 28.68. Take the 20 off it. It's still a good run. She's only in October 20, Tommy. Lots to like about this lady. In behind, Droopy's Elisa was second and Burgess Girl third. Didn't happen for the remainder.
I actually really like the performance of the front two. If I'm honest, I thought
Elisa showed good pace down the back straight to get into.
Yeah, out of the second bend. Yeah, out of the second bend to move into second place. She was never going to get to the winner, which is a good sign of the winner. Crafty Shivu deserves plenty of credit, but I actually took both of them out of that race, thinking they both enhanced their reputation, in my mind at least.
Yeah, Declan, Crafty Shivu, if she keeps that up, you could see her in the latter stages of the Oaks.
Absolutely, she couldn't have done more than what she did. Very impressive, very, very sharp. I agree with Tommy. Very good as well. Absolutely. A very good performance, yeah.
We'll move on to Heat 5, and this was won by Let's Go Bubbles. We were speaking of the clock knock sort of tallying to the display. I thought this was the standout in terms of those. Like, if this had flashed up at 28.25, I wouldn't have been shocked. I was so impressed. She didn't take a flyer. She showed tremendous early speed, take it up on the opening corner. She ran right away from a talented field. Great to see Droopy's Nice One showing signs of a return to her very best in second spot. She ran a big race. Blue Matilda was back in third. Didn't happen for the others, but this was all about Let's Go Bubbles. She was a 4-6 favourite. She's a half sister to Susie Sapphire, and while she may not be as razor sharp in those first few strides, there is a lot of similarities between the pair. I love the way she goes about things. Declan, she's definitely in my shortlist.
It's uncanny how like Susie she is, actually let out here, and that's a fair test. She is fast away. She just went by her into the bend. Away she goes. Impressive. A very, very good performance. She's doing everything right, ticking all the boxes. So far, so good, sir. is right up there among the contenders, no doubt about it. I wouldn't be surprised if she's betting for the next round. I wouldn't be surprised if she's gone favourite actually.
I don't think she'll be favourite. She'll be up there. We'll
yeah,
get to the favorite.
win,
We'll get to the potential
yeah.
favourite in a minute.
But
Droopy, it was great to see Droopy's nice one also producing, because it's been a bit hit or miss the last couple of months.
It has, and she's back against. I know she's coming back. Definitely, she's put a very good run by the winner for sure.
Yeah, Tommy, two very, very fast ladies.
Yeah, I'd put a positive for the third as well. Actually, Blue Matilda thought she ran well to hang on to the tail of Droopy's nice one, and when Droopy's nice one went by her, she kind of she tried her heart out to stay with her. Ultimately, Droopy's nice one is very strong. What I liked about Droopy's nice one's performance was is okay. She didn't kick off the second bend where you're hoping she might kick into second place very quickly. She didn't quite do that, but I love the way she ran from the last bend home. And I think that's the sign. She's a bitch who stays a bit further and wants a little bit further. I think it was definite signs of coming back to her best. But like, you're up against a bitch who's improving all the while, who's razor sharp, who's going to do everything right. If you're a strong stayer over 5.25, or a somewhat strong runner over 5.25 in the sense that you don't necessarily, you have a little bit of early pace, maybe not enough to compete at Let's Go Bubbles level. You're going to be up against it. So I actually think the Droopy Nice ran a super race, but the winner was just the only thing you'd say if Declan's talking about maybe Let's Go Bubbles being a favourite for, you just like a little bit extra sharpness at the traps. That's what you would like. That's the only thing you'd say. I'm just going to be worried every time I watch the first 10 yards, because she has it, and I'm sure she will improve and sharpen up in that. She has it there, but you just like to see it just to make sure, because like we talked about the depth earlier on. You're not going to get away with much in this competition.
Yeah, she has a 203 and a 206 in her card. As you said, though, 215
Yeah.
the other night, and does a 210, 214, 217. So she's capable of both. I think she was a bit like Susie Sapphire through her Puppy Oaks. If you actually look at the run through the Puppy Oaks, 214, 210, 206, 203, she just got better and better and better each night. And that's one thing we saw about Susie Sapphire. She got better through each competition she ran in, produced her best in the night of the final. And who's to say, it would be no shock if she did it 2 seconds the night of the Oaks final and blitzed them, wins in 28-20. And again, we start looking at, this is freaky. But no, brilliant performance by Let's Go Bulls. There's so much to like about her. I just love her attitude. And she was also the 4th winner in a row, sired by that's right, Droopy Sydney. Droopy Sydney. It's just remarkable. I'll tell you one thing. People are always saying, oh yeah, look for these Droopy Sydney dogs. I'd be looking for a good dog that's a cross for Droopy Sydneys, because there's some fast ladies out there bred by Droopy Sydney. Moving on to Heat 6. This went to Cornetto. She licked her rivals, Tommy. There was just one Cornetto on this occasion. Yada, yada, yada. Sole mio. Cornetto got up the inside on the opening corner after a missed start. She sort of forced her way through into second past Dapper Rose, the youngster who's making her 4-bend debut. Got after Courty Girl, took it up off the second bend, and away she went. I get the sense that she's had 2 runs now, but I get the sense she badly needed them. She was picked up over 550 in her previous start, and even the other night, the 28.84. Like this lady's definitely capable of, like, she has a 28.27 in her card. I just wouldn't be surprised if she's still only 14 or 15 weeks, and they're sort of rushed her back for this. But I'll tell you one thing, it was a good start.
Well, she effectively she's coming up the grades there. I know she has plenty of open tests, but she's coming back, and I loved her attitude, and I loved her tracking ability. That's what probably impressed me most. It obviously leaves questions to answer as you go on, because the competition gets hotter. But there's a lot to like about it. It was reasonably tight up along the inside. Courty Girl ran a cracking race in defeat, but I just thought Cornetto had a little bit of quality, a little bit of class about her. I just liked a few things that she did, even though the time and the performance probably leaves her a bit behind some of the best on the night. I quite liked it now, I have to say. I'd expect more from her.
Yeah, Declan, I think there's no question more to come from her.
Sorry, and Courty Girl was very impressive. She was highly consistent, very experienced, and so it wasn't. Went does favour the insides certainly, and she will keep improving. She's a particularly good fight. She's enough like going improving true, but she wouldn't be before at the minute, but she's well capable of getting there for sure.
Yeah. It just so happens she elucidated a double for Pat Guilfoyle, who half an hour later, we'll get to the race in the middle in a little while. Heat 7 of the Sporting Press Irish Oaks, and this was a sensational display by undisputed Declan. This lady returned after a long layoff, now trained by Pat Guilfoyle. She had 28.05 in her card in the past at, a couple of other fine displays, but she's back now after a long layoff and first time out, bangs the lids down 28-20. This was a pretty special run on the first night of the Oaks to sort of set the tone. She was 4-1, which was somewhat surprising, but I suppose when you look at the quality of the opposition, it's not really that surprising. My shock was that Burgess Rapid was made favourite in the race, where there was like the likes of Undisputed, Up the Style and Bobsleigh Dream. Up the Style took a fall in the opening corner. She got up and ran on, thankfully, I think. Bobsleigh Dream completely fluffed her lines at the traps, was last into the bend and took a speed wobble on the corner, but then recovered well to get second. But this was all about Undisputed, this daughter of Pastana, Declan. She was razor sharp.
She was. She couldn't have done. I mean, it was the performance of the round, and the clock backs that up. But your eyes took was an exceptional run. If she keeps that up now, going through, and that's the thing, I mean, that's what. But she couldn't have been better. She's in great hands. It was a very impressive performance. Bobsleigh Dream to me is not a 5.25 runner, really. You know what I mean? So she ran well.
She's not, but she's a great tracker, and it's going to take a bomb to keep her out of the frame, because she's a bad last the other night going into the corner. She still finishes a good second. You know what I mean? So
I love her. She's a great attitude and everything. You know what I mean? And she doesn't have to lead, but 5.2 early pace, somewhere real early pace. As you said with some of the others, it is going to kick in, but they've done more.
Yeah, Tommy, Undisputed, away and gone for Pat Guilfoyle. This is the type of performer he absolutely shines with. He won the Oaks. I'm gonna say it's a long time ago now. Miss Firecracker, she was a real sort of speedster off the inside, get to the front and just keep going. And Undisputed is in a very similar guise, member of the very fast Pastana, Unlock Litter. And I would be suggesting she'll be favourite for the Oaks come tomorrow or Wednesday morning when the likes of Boyle Sports price it up.
Well, I think Declan made a great point, and I don't know that people would necessarily pick up on it if they don't know the bitch. He made the point that if she can continue to do it, and that's purely, I suspect that Declan knows his dogs inside out, so he's looking back and saying, you're seeing 216, 208, 215, 227, 219, 215, 208, 223, 210, 226, 216. It's kind of it's like a lot of those are sections that get you into trouble rather than let you get away from trouble. But she, and I know disrespect to her previous trainer got her to do 28.05, but there's potential if she has improved, and if she does find a consistency like a 2.05 consistency, potential she'll do 27.70. I think that's a huge run the other night. I think it's an absolute monster run is what it is, really. And if she does do that consistency, Declan's right. As a punter, I'd be doing the same as he will. I'd be looking next week to see where that 2.05, over the next 2-3 weeks, see how they compare. If they stay under 210 for the next few weeks, I'm thinking, my God, we might have a bit of a monster on our hands. And the point, funny enough, we're in complete agreement here, because the point Declan made about Bobsleigh Dream is right. Obviously, she's not a 5.25 bitch, but she's also a bitch that, like, you'd say you wouldn't even consider her as a potential Oaks winner in this company, in this sort of depth of company, other than the fact that she has Ballinabola Ed-esque pace. That's what she has. I'll never forget the pace she showed down the back in the Ledger. I mean, that was ridiculous stuff is what it was. So she's purely phenomenal. That's what she is. And yes, she will need luck to get out of trouble here and there. If she's not going to be able to match the very best of them with her early pace. But she's so dangerous if she's in any race at all. I'm not, I think you have to err on the side of the fact that you not fancying her to win it. But I think it'll take a fair performance to get her out of the frame.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think, all going well, luck on their side, and once our eyes aren't fooling us, that both Undisputed and Bobsleigh Dream are likely Oaks finalists, come later next month. But we'll see. You know, stranger things have happened. But it's certainly a great start for Undisputed and Bobsleigh Dreamwell. We just know how talented she is, how many finals she has made, which is more is the point. She's a real competition greyhound, no question about it. And the 4 quick runs certainly won't phase her going forward. Moving on to Heat 8, and this was while Pat Buckley was second the previous year with Bobsleigh Dream, he had a good winner here in Glengar Bridie. Glengar Martha was the fancied runner in the heat, but she missed the kick somewhat, but actually ran a big race in defeat, I thought. Burgess Ann came in as a reserve and slipped around second. There was traffic on the corner, the likes of Drumcrove, Rosie, Kanya Hotshot, and of course the Laurels runner-up, Ballymacwispa, got no sort of run. She was badly balked on the opening corner. But Glengar Bridie, a tremendous winner, and 28.67, popped out, edged across the fence. She'll need to go faster in time, but she's certainly going the right way. This was only her 8th career start, Declan.
Yeah, that's the point about it. She is very inexperienced. She's already raced over 600 yards. 600 yards. She's very good. She does favour the inside. She went straight for the fence. Once she got it, nothing. The second one, man, it's only the second race of her career. You know, the Burgess won her second, and that's in the performance, you know, coming in as reserve there, and you know, the other Glengar one was unlucky, definitely just didn't happen for her. I thought she still ran well, did well to qualify.
Yeah,
good run by the winner. If she keeps improving, could go a long way.
The second had caught the eye on her racing debut with Newbridge, obviously in the opening round of the Brownstown Tango Newbridge Track Supporters on race stake down there. And then she was a non-runner the second round. So there was clearly a little issue or something with her, but just don't be surprised if she improved, you know, exponentially on that run as well. She's just one to keep in the back of the mind. You know, if the draw goes in her favour, with a bit more experience, just don't rule her out winning at a big price some night. Tommy Glengar Bridie, just a good winner off the front. You know, once she popped out and got to the rail, that was it. With form over 600 yards, nothing was going to get to her.
No, she had gone to the champion 550 as well, contested the first round of that as well. So you know, I mean, she's for one so inexperienced, she's been in some pretty good company already. I wouldn't have expected her to lead, or I wouldn't expect her to lead in most heats of an Oaks. So when she did, it was all over. I think she'll strengthen up. Probably needs to find a little bit of consistency, but it's early days yet. That can all come. But she has the raw ability. Just get that bit of consistency.
Yeah, we'll move on to Heat 9, where Pat Buckley was after having a winner, and now terribly bad luck with Stream of Sydney picking up an injury in the opening corner when in front. Very sad to see. Rahamofo, as a result, was the defending champion, bitch of the year, last week's Limerick Oaks winner, of course, track record holder down in Galway. She's a sensational performer, and she was left in front. Forget about it. You're not getting near this lady. I thought Easy Razzle showed much more in defeat on this occasion, Declan, that she had in her previous 2 starts, where she was somewhat disappointing. Okay, she stumbled in her third last start, slow way in the previous start to that, or our subsequent start. But I thought she ran a big race in defeat. But Rahamofo, a tremendous winner. Stream of Sydney, don't know if she'll race again or not, but she'll certainly be kept for breeding. She's worth a fortune. She's a very, very talented lady, and we send on our best wishes to her connections.
Yeah, it was tragic. Runs being done in the night. What run would she have done? The way she was going, and the winner won a brilliant winner, as we know, brilliant Greyhound, as we know. But Stream of Sydney was leading her, which I'll always remember the night in Tralee when she came from behind the 2 Ballymacs. That's one of the best that I've ever seen on track. So it would be great if she could run again. Hopefully she for breeding, and by goodness, she was some Greyhound. Rahamofo is brilliant. I think Rahamova is actually better now than she was when she won last season. She's actually better, you know. That doesn't mean, because obviously there's new opponents. It's a whole new competition. It's a year later, but she's actually a better Greyhound. I really love for Easy Razzle. You're dead right. Experience, and you've got to think in the latter stages, experience that does come into these things. But she did best here very early on. She was brilliant. 2 nights she just missed it for whatever reason. As we say, she's an. And she ran well, but really, what happened to Stream of Sydney did over the whole thing. But it was just terrible to see. It really was.
Yeah, terrible to see. But hopefully she will be right as rain in the meantime. Looking at this contest, Tommy Rahamofo was a big winner, obviously enough. It was 364 days since she caught the eye in the opening round last year at 10-1. She finished second that night in short head, and I told you this is a fast lady, and it's amazing. Here we are a year on. She's gone one spot slower than she did 364 days earlier on. But look at the water that's gone under the bridge since then. Obviously, Oaks winner, Galway Oaks winner, Limerick Oaks winner, Bitch of the Year. She's somewhat of a star.
And she's been well handled as well, because if you look at her, last year she had like, even though she was inexperienced, this got to contradict itself, but you'll know what I mean if you look at her form. Even though she was inexperienced going into the Oaks for something as tough as the Oaks, she had a reasonably busy campaign. Once she started going, she only got going in February. Once she got going, though, she kept going, and it was brilliant to a brilliant performance to win the Oaks. But she's done an awful lot since, and yet there was a short period, and obviously Mert knows more than I do and you do, and Declan, about training greyhounds. But there was a small period earlier on this season, back in February, the same time as she started off last year, that it looked like, you're not sure exactly where you stand with her. You don't know whether these bitches are going to come back to their very, very best. Well, 3 or 4 runs, and they were in good company. Let's be honest. They were in really deep company. But once she got back among the bitches in the Oaks in Limerick, she just started to show her class again. You said in the past, I think, that you think that maybe she's just best against the bitches. Herself, that it just suits her a bit more. Maybe that she lacks a tiny bit of early pace, and we're talking about minuscule stuff. She's a couple of strides below the likes of whatever the best of the early pacers in this are. Maybe we're only talking about a couple of spots kind of stuff, but she's phenomenally powerful, and he's done a great job. Murtagh's done a great job getting her back to this level. Yeah, she was brilliant in the Limerick Oaks. She's been brilliant there at the start of the Irish Oaks, and I don't see any reason, agreeing again with what Declan said, I don't see any reason why she's not going to continue to improve and be even better than she was last year. She probably need to be, because it is a really good Oaks. But she's a class act, and you know what? Whereas we don't know with a lot of the other greyhounds, a lot of the other young bitches that are kind of making a name for themselves now, we know she can make mistakes in races and still recover. We know she can do it from the front. We know she can get in a bit of trouble and find a way to qualify. So she's pure class. She's another one that, like, you think will have to go wrong for her not to be in a final.
Yeah. I would say Johnny Linehan skipped out of Shelbourne. I'd say he was delighted with Easy Razzle.
Yeah.
I'd say she learned plenty from her 2 defeats in recent weeks, and big run from her the other night. And I'd say he can't wait to get stuck into her now with a run through an Oaks and see how she develops.
Look, Johnny's an excellent trainer. And she was in stiff company when she was beaten in the 2 previous her 2 previous outings. Haven't had a good run. We know, like, she missed a kick a couple of times, which she hadn't done in early races or 2 previous races in Shelbourne. That's, again, it's so inexperienced. She's only had 7 runs. It's such inexperience. It's just getting that consistency. That was a good little break, 2:14. She's going to improve upon that. Is it 2:14? Yeah, 2:14. She's going to improve upon that, and maybe be a player. Obviously, she's going to have to step forward, but with 7 runs under her belt, she's bound to be open to plenty of improvement.
She sure is. Worth mentioning there, another 1-2 for Droopy Sydney, was it? Yeah, 1-2 for Droopy Sydney, Rahamofo, Easy Razzle. And that's after Glengar Bridie had also won for Droopy Sydney. Not a bad night for him. We'll move on. Heat 10, Declan. And it started to get a bit cut up at this point with a load of non-runners. I suppose it's better to have them in 2 races rather than spread across 6 or 7 races, maybe. But we had a 4-dog and we had a 4-bitch and a 3-bitch heat to finish with. Ripley Delight, Meerkat Maggie missing from Heat 10, and it went to Miss Minnie Star, and it was as simple as she got loose early, and the other 3 just belted each other all around the place. There was nothing too serious, but just rubbing, racing, you know what I mean? It just there was no room for any of them to get running, and Miss Minnie Star just skipped away. Teresa's Mendoza actually ran well to shake off her rivals to go second, but we'll see her go at least a second faster in the coming weeks. But Miss Minnie Star just did it right for Tommy O'Donovan.
Yeah, and you must credit the winner. She was slicked away and gone, and that's it's great being in front. It's a place to be to avoid trouble. The other 3, it was, and what heaven's name was going on. I don't know. Turning backwards and everything, but they will all come on for. They've all qualified. That's the name of the game. slick run by the winner for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just away and gone, Tommy. She has a lovely turn of early speed. Like if you look at, she's 285 around Clonmel. She's returning after a bit of a layoff. A couple of sprint trials back, but this is a very pleasing return.
It was a first race in Shelbourne as well. She had a trial here previously. She was very good. It's hard to say what she achieved in the sense of it was away and gone, because the other three were hilarious altogether. One, if the Footfield Peach wanted out, Teresa
Yeah.
Mandova desperately wanted in, and Grace Bridge Star just wanted to be left alone to go up her own line. She was going straight as a gun barrel, got cut off by one coming out, one coming in, and Teresa Mendoza was not happy until she got onto the rails.
Yeah.
She just kept boring left until she got there. We know how fast she is. She was a 2 to 5 chance, and you'd say she should win with a clear run in a 4 Greyhound, 4-bitch race. But it's amazing to win a 4-dog race. The draw can be even the draw can be important.
Yeah, I tipped the three wall ways on top of the card. I think I paid €2.
Did you bag it?
You get to the last race though. That's the key.
You're €6 three all ways. You get back €2.
Didn't change your life, no.
No. On to heat 11. A 3-dog affair. Hello, Mom, Cushy Island, Reckless Nanny, all non-runners. So we were left with Rathdown and Molly, Crossfield Orla, and Cash and Miska. Rathdown and Molly, I think this was the epitome of one needing the run. I would say she's probably only 12 weeks or so. Definitely needed a run badly. But she looked razor sharp early. She flashed out, went to the corner, took it up, cleared down the back straight. But just the oxygen level started to waver into the third bend. But in fairness to Cash and Miska, she's a really good card. She's a nice running lady. She moved with real purpose to get to the leader. Went on. Crossfield Orla came out of the clouds. She looks like one that'll stay further. And they finished 6-2-1. Cash and Miska beating Crossfield Orla and Rathdown Molly. I think there was plenty of encouragement for all three, Declan.
Very on foot it was. Rathdown Molly is just coming.
Declan's frozen. Tommy, speak to me there.
Yeah, look, to be honest about it, the runner up Crossfield Orla has.
Sorry, Declan, you froze there completely for a moment or two. Go ahead again.
Sorry. Yeah, it ran very well. Rathdown Molly is just coming out of season. Exactly our song to Des straight after the race. She did 2:06 with sharp on the clocks we were having on the night. That was actually very fast. She ran well. Cash and Miska ran very well. I thought the Crossfield one came home very, very strongly. Sure, the three come on for that big time, I would think.
Yeah, three ran well. Tommy, anything else to add?
This is great timing from Rathdown Molly if she can get away with another week or two and qualify. She showed terrific early pace. They all show something. Like Crossfield Orla has a run over 600 yards in Shelbourne Park already, winning by a distance, and Cash and Miska ran a cracking race. I thought chasing hard against Molly. The positives for all of them. I mean, to be honest.
Yeah, positives for all of them. That's a good way to finish it up. That's the opening round of the Sporting Press Online Edition Irish Oaks. There's no point in even looking at the next round. There's too much ground to cover, but obviously we've got some real talent in there. I was going to say they're largely separated. There's still plenty of talent. Talented types going to clash, but there's no real sort of heat of death, as they use that terrible expression. Boyle Sports Coco, I see, is in trap 1. You'd imagine that will suit. Bobsleigh Dream is, she got her kennel companion Glenn Garbride on the inside in 2, who was going to edge inward. So Bobsleigh Dream should have a decent enough passage. I'm just looking through them here. Undisputed is in trap 3. Crafty Shivu is up her inside. Easy Razzle out in trap 6. That's going to be a decent clash, but if Undisputed hits the lids like she did the other night, you would imagine she'll be very hard to stop. Onto heat 7, Let's Go Bubbles and Raham Mofo clash. That's probably the clash of the round. No disservice. The likes of Droopy's Timing, Our Dog, Molly, Stories, Fuse, and Dapper Rose. They'll need to improve considerably on their opening round efforts to worry the likes of Let's Go Bubbles and Rahamofo. That's a great one to look forward to. And then the final heat, some good names in the final heat. 365 was running on well last time. Cornetto will improve. Scooby Duchess is set to improve. Corty Girl go up fast. Highview Mags, we know exactly what she's going to do. Lots to look forward to, Declan. What's your idea of the Oaks winner at this point?
I would put it in, A20, with a new kennel and everything. But just, I would say, and Boyle Sports Coco would be 2, I would think, at this stage. Yeah.
Sorry, what was the first one?
Sorry, well, you must consider the 28-20 winner on the night.
Oh, undisputed. Sorry, you just
Undisputed,
froze
yeah,
just as you were saying it, and Boyle Sports Cocoa. We missed the first one you were saying there. Go ahead.
Let's Bubbles definitely is a huge contender.
Yeah, Tommy.
I mean, it's just so many for sure.
There are so many. Tommy.
Look at the only way I pick a winner the Oaks at the moment is to have a look at the prices or pick value and go for something like that because it's that open. Obviously, we're big fans of Boys versus Coco, and I don't see any reason to change at the moment. It is a tough competition, so you won't get away with an awful lot. Yeah, I haven't that exciting in terms of that a big price to add. I'd love to see the prices and see what sort of there has to be some bit of value there somewhere.
Yeah, no, I know what you're coming from. Without knowing the prices, you'd imagine there'll be 4 or 5 of them within a couple of points each other at the top, and there'll be another 4 or 5 that'll just be behind them. It'll be very tight. Like the likes of Easy Razzle, you think, oh God, that could be a bit of value. She could be stuck in a 12-1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because people see with their eyes as well. You know what I mean? You can't just hope that they completely miss something. But no, there's some very talented types there. You can try your best. Problem is, we're after speaking about it for an hour, so hopefully we're after pointing out a couple of likely winners in the future. Moving on, gentlemen, we have so much to look forward to in the Sporting Press online edition. Irish Oaks, it continues on Saturday night, 8 heats and 8 wonderful heats at that. Declan, also on Saturday night, we saw the final of the Champion 550. It's been a great competition over the last few years. We've seen some great Derby pointers in it, and this year's crop, a very strong running crop. I'm going to take up your sort of your task is what you normally say. 25-1 or 20-1 or 16-1. I can't see how it's that price. That was the way I felt about Ballyhimmock and Rex. I stuck it in to be third ahead of the bottom 3. I really didn't fancy the bottom 3 on the night. I thought Ballyhimmock and Rex had run very well in his previous 2 starts, and on this occasion he was much sharper. And even then, Story's Law outbroke him, edged in on him. He took a small bump, showed great early speed. He ran out a very deserving winner of this competition, I thought.
On both fronts, I don't understand how he was such a price, and he was the best on the night. Sure, Ben said he came home strongly, as he always does, for sure. Very, very good. We know how good Sober Glory is. Sober Glory had a right good cut out of it, in fairness, but on the night, the best dog, hands down.
Yeah, Tommy, Billy and John Dunn down your direction, I believe, are they? Are they Cork?
Yeah, they are, and you know what? A great result for them, but a great result for Ballyhimmock and Jet as a sire as well.
Yeah, of course. I was going to mention that he's their own sire. He's made some start to his career.
Unbelievable. And actually, the Slaneside Poppy obviously is the Derek Keogh line, the dam line, but the sister won the unraced in
Newbridge. Yeah.
Remember, she was Ballyhimmock and Luckily she sold after. She has a new name. Or sold before the final, actually, I think in Newbridge. So, like Ballyhimmock and Jet looks like he could be a really good sire. You've got a long way to go to be compared to the likes of Druby Sydney, but he's made a pretty sharp start. So it's actually a very important win for Billy and John Dunn. Never mind the fact that they're picking up a nice check for Ballyhimmock and Rex winning, but Ballyhimmock and Jet is probably just as significant for him. I came away thinking Ben's Teddy won't win a Derby.
Yeah. He could get to a lot of stages of Derby, though. He's so powerful, isn't he?
No, reason being, okay, no, I like the dog, and I know some of the connections of the dog, and you're kind of looking at him thinking, this is a dog with the ability to win a Derby, and we talked about it, and we said a couple of weeks ago, I think we were talking here and talking about him being a Derby contender. But just what I didn't, not that I didn't like it, but it just would concern me as from the point of view of backing him, is he took a long time to get by Sober Glory because Sober Glory was on his inner, and he just didn't seem to like that. And I felt, because I'm rating him as having the pace, like it's 29.61, it's one in, right? That's down to the track probably, right? But I'm sure he can do 29.20. But it just took forever to get by Sober Glory. And Sober Glory's a really good dog, don't get me wrong. But I just felt you gotta go. But and see what happened the second he did. He absolutely devoured the ground up the straight. He absolutely devoured it. 2 strides, it's half a length, 2 strides, he's in front. It just concerned me because I have the reason I say this isn't trying to be harsh on the dog, but I had him in my head as a potential Derby winner. And now I've raised the flag and went, red flag, and going, oh, I'm not so sure now. Not that the ability isn't there, but just concerned that if it's going to happen like that in a competition like that, there wasn't much early pace in that final, and hence the reason I think about making the point.
Tactical speed. tactical speed
Yeah,
and
that's
conditions of a race. That's where you're
I
concerned.
don't like.
Whereas other dogs will be out front looking to just keep going, whereas he'll be looking for the gaps
Well, if
before
he
getting going. Yeah.
if he gets a clear run, he's good enough to pick up most greyhounds in the country. Maybe not them all, but if he gets a clear run, he's capable of picking up most of them. I just thought, watch it. The more I watch the races, going, the first time is obviously the time when you pick up the best, the best sense of what's happening, and you're kind of going, right, go on, right, go on, go. And next thing you're just waiting. And it took him until he got into clearing the straight. But by God, his pace from the last bend home, I'd love to know what that section alone was, because it looked phenomenal.
Yeah, he absolutely hammered home, no question about it. But last mention goes to the winner, Ballyhimmock and Rex. I'm delighted for the boys. I think he's a real nice dog. I think he's progressive. I think if you look to his card, I think he's January 21. He's a bit of age inside. It was his 22nd career start, but his last 2 to 3 efforts have been considerably better. And he seems to be a dog that's just arriving at the peak of his powers. And I have to tell you, late May, sort of, early summer is a nice time to be arriving to the peak of your powers, because he could be kept busy over the next few weeks and a couple of months. Expect to see plenty more of Ballyhimmock and Rex. Indeed, expect to see plenty more of Ben's Tebbage, Sober Glory, Story's Law, Run Faster, and Belinda's Finn. A cracking final, that the Shelbourne Champion 550. 24 hours earlier, we had the Island Bridge Open Sprint, and 2 Trap 1 winners. It's not a double I would have backed myself, Declan, but Gallant Knight had been every night I go to Shelbourne Park, myself and Teddy Hegarty have a few minutes to talk, and this dog Gallant Knight has been on his lips on more than one occasion over the last week, because they did back it the first round in what was just his 3rd career start against the likes of Gizmo Cash. That's a proof in itself that they thought very highly of him. He ran very well behind Gizmo Cash in the opening round, and he reversed the form in the semi-finals the other night. Gallant Knight having just his 4th career start, beating the Gold Cup winner Bogger Hunter, the Sprinter of the Year and track record holder Gizmo Cash, and the sensationally fast Flashing Willow. We're after seeing an arrival of one. Declan, this Gallant Knight is a very talented sprinter.
Well, he was brilliant in the first round, I thought. That was a staggering run for. Well, it's like he was in against probably the best sprinters in the country, and okay, he's a big dog, the inside third, but at the same time, he was very inexperienced, and he drove into that bend, and he couldn't have done it better. The other semi-final was interesting too. I thought obviously the 5.25 form came into it, going to the line, because he's a dog to the winner, and that told the difference. But I would think actually Michael Donovan's one could pop out and could be the one to catch. But there's so much. It's the sprints, they are a law into themselves, and that is for sure. And we've lost 1 or 2 good ones out of it. It's an intriguing final.
It sure is. Gizmo Cash is drawing the inside. That could be key to the race.
Could be,
He's going to need to trap, but if he does trap on level terms, it's very hard to see how he doesn't lead around the opening corner. Echo Zulu did show tremendous early speed from Michael O'Donovan. Lightning at boxes, showed great speed into the opening corner, but Radical Hero, that 4-bend pace, as you said, Declan, just got him there in the closing yards. The Cork Spring Derby was on Saturday night, Tommy. A couple of good winners. Ballymac Pete was a good winner, of course, and the other one was won by the rural dog, the dog that we saw running so well at Clonmel earlier in the year as a rural tailor. Bear with me, I'm going to have to open up the results. There was a lot going on, and unfortunately I don't have to write the reports in Cork, so it's not to the top of my mind, but it's a good stake. It's worth good money. Ballymac Pete 28.33 led at the third bend, held the big finish of Montana Fantasy, and the other heat went to Rural Taylor, always prominent, took it up off the last bend to win in 28.47. Good competition, Tommy. Some nice dogs in it.
It's some nice dogs, right? But it's great. There's great prize money. It's phenomenal for an A2. It's a great thing to have in Curraheen Park, even though you probably want to be an open dog to win it, because back raiders are allowed, so it makes it quite difficult. I was impressed with Ballymac Pete, because I thought he'd probably have to lead. Do you know what? He showed great determination, having not led, I thought, to win it. And Rural Taylor's a strong running dog. He's shown that a couple of times. There was a little bit of trouble, tiny bit of trouble early in that, but he's just a powerful dog. It's you know what? I've often said that the Curraheen Park needs more good racing. Now, it is an A2 at the end of the day, but they're kind of almost open class type dogs. This has been a great addition to the track for the last few weeks. Quality wise, it's very good. Competitive, it's really competitive. It's what it has been. You're getting good prices. You're getting a little bit of value, which is extremely important to get punters going into the track. So, yeah, a lot of positives for the spring derby.
Yeah, sure is. That's the final Saturday night, of course, to look forward to, Tommy. And it's competitive. You know, nothing can be said to be easy in this contest. No question about it. The Lee Strand was
You'd
on.
imagine.
Go ahead, Tommy.
Sorry, you'd imagine Ballymacpeat Pete would if he produces his best break, he'd probably be strong enough favourite, I'd say, to lead all the way. Not to say that would definitely happen, but yeah, at first glance, that's what you think would happen.
Yeah, we'll move on to the Lee Strand, which was on Friday evening. We've suggested through the Juvenile Classic that the dogs that got knocked out in the first or second round would go on to produce something. Step forward, Blast Off Chase, who is another member of the very fast litter. He's a brother of Blast Off Mac and Blast Off Salah. Well, this fellow was knocked out of the second round of the Juvenile Classic at 20-1 behind a certain Ryhope Beach. He'd been beaten by Ballymacwalt in the opening round, and here he is, improving through the Lee Strand the other night, 29.59 off the front for Philip Buckley. Nice dog, Grangeview 10 dog, showed good early speed and setting the standard. It's one of those competitions where we'll get to the champion race in just a moment. It's one of those competitions where dogs have, there's one dog takes over in the first round, and the next another dog does the fastest run in the second round. Now another dog is after stepping forward, and Blast Off Chase was very much the star on Friday night. The other heat went to Saline Con. Gentlemen, I don't know if you caught up in the action from the Lee Strand. Always worth throwing an eye on it. Some fast greyhounds in it, all sorts of traffic in the opening heat, and it went to Saline Con, who's very much a strong runner. He came through to lead from the third bend and raced away to win by 4 lengths. He's a nice type, but Blast Off Chase would take the headlines with that 29.59 return. Always good dogs come out of it, Declan.
Yeah, well, funny you say that, because that Tralee form actually has been in Shelbourne in the last 2 seasons. It wasn't something I'd quickly noticed, but for the last two seasons, form from Tralee goes straight to Shelbourne. It really does. Seems to be the best in it. But look, as you say, in these competitions, often this dogs go out early that hear of much later in the year, and they're all beating each other early on, but he looks the best one now at this stage.
Yeah, that Blast Off Chase, be interested to see if he can repeat that sort of form in the final. Now let's get to the champion unraced from Kilkenny. We've been talking about the amount of good dogs around the country. Well, Kilkenny and the champion on race stake epitomizes that. Through the competition, we've seen some flashy runs by a couple, but on Friday night it went to a whole new level. Carrick Fergie, who had been beaten in the previous round, did a 28.58 off the front. I'm going to say it's the 5th fastest run ever at Kilkenny, and he was doing it. He only took it up on the opening corner. He slipped in from trap 4. 2 and 3 missed the kick, which allowed him the room to do it. He got up the inside of Ballymac Copper on the bend, and once doing so, he raced away by 6.5 lengths in 28.58. It was a stunning run from a clearly very, very fast greyhound, Tommy.
Yeah, and I had to switch inside early and the whole lot, and it was kind of it had to be brave at the bend. And you could think, if you're watching the race, you're thinking that it's not. The dog is almost thinking its way around the first bend. Not sure it's after wanting to switch inside because the dog stepped out right. But even at that, it was kind of watching what was happening around the bend. You could see the way it was angled at the bend, but once it got in front of shove, phenomenal pace, and actually tracked extremely well after that. And you know what you'd love most about it, apart from the fact that it tracked well to lead at the first bend, it powered up the straight. I mean, it absolutely drove up the straight, and the camera is great for that, because the camera in Kilkenny is down quite low, and
it's very low. Yeah.
It gives you a sense, but it does when you see it. It gives you a sense of just how fast they're going. Like, proper greyhound for Robert Leeson, absolutely proper greyhound.
There's a throwback to you here, Tommy. Droopy Zero, obviously the dam is throwing a few. Do you know what her sire is? A dog you always struggle to remember his name.
Oh no, Malbrandy.
Yeah.
has to be.
Malbrandy, yeah. No, he's a very fast greyhound. Thomas Glynn has had a few fast dogs in the past and in recent times. Robert Gleeson trains this one for him. Robert, as I said, had a decent enough weekend now. He's some nice dogs about him. If this Carrick Fergie continues to, to get the run, he'll be one to look forward to. He looks a real 550-yard greyhound, Declan.
Yeah, for very much. And as you say, the trainer and the owner are in some form lately. Will be better 550. But the young race, it's amazing, doing those time race. I mean, 28:58. That's absolutely staggering.
Yeah, massive run. Onto the second heat, which was, in terms of quality, it looked a much stronger heat. The likes of Droopy's Donut, Clonruth Sydney, Balnakill Alf, Seven Beach, and that's not even to mention Chalita and Deadly Jet, who both caught the eye in earlier rounds. Chalita was 50-1 the other night. That sort of sums up the quality of the race. Balnakill Alf has tremendous early speed. The son of Pastana, for the second week running, though, picked up in the closing yards. This time by Droopy's Donut, of course, for Johnny Linnen, out of Droopy's Dance. She has thrown some very fast types as well in the past, and this is the latest of them. Droopy's Donut had gone really quick in the previous round, and at this occasion looked like he was going to have to settle for a second spot, but as a half brother to Droopy's Nice One, he's not short of pace, and he absolutely hammered home to lead on the line for a half-length success in 28:72. I think he's obviously good for better. Balnakill Alf, as I said, razor sharp greyhound. Didn't happen for Clonruth Sydney earlier on, but as we saw in the previous round, he's very, very strong indeed. Seven Beach, should I said, went up very fast from trap 6, but just found himself on the outside of two very fast greyhounds and just got a little bit lost in himself. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if 4 of these went on to stardom in the future. I think that's the quality we saw in this heat, Tommy.
Absolutely no idea how 4 led at the bend. I watched that race numerous times, and I had Seven Beach in front, and I don't know how all of a sudden it went for Seven Beach in front to out the second bend that Balnakill Alpha is in front. It's like a glitch in the Matrix. I don't know what it is, but Droopy's Donut track nicely and showed lovely pace, obviously. But Balnakill Alpha actually is going to improve a bit on that too. I would imagine. It seems like maybe they clipped slightly or something. The leader in Balnakill Alf clipped slightly maybe at the first bend, and Balnakill Alf switched inside a bit. Like you said, just picked up a bit late. Can they just strengthen up? Like, these are very likely races. That's only the third run for any of them that competed the other night. And October put Balnakill Alf as well. So it's that's, even though there's only a couple of lengths, there's only 2 lengths between the two heats. Just to tell you the depth of quality there too. I don't know what's like in terms of overall or at the moment, whether Kilkenny is running particularly fast at the moment or not, but they're 2 phenomenal runs.
Yeah, I think they're a really good group. Declan Droopy's Donut is certainly one you could see running around Shelbourne Park, no question about it. So too Balnakill Alf, but you could also see him running at Dundalk or Cork, or it could be a real type Laurels type greyhound. Clonruth Sydney is all over a Shelbourne Park greyhound, a big 78-pounder, loads of pace, loads of strength. Seven Beach is one that you could sprint, or indeed you could run in the likes of a Laurels. Just a very, very fast bunch.
Yeah. I mean, also an experience. Like that's the thing that you have to remember. And you can say check and got clipped on, but they're just learning the game. But they're learning at a very high level. They're in against very fast dogs as well. So any dog considered. And it's going to show some great dogs. As I say, some will be for Dundalk, some for Cork, some different. Mentioned Pastana there. I must say he fantastic has done a Droopy Sydney. I mean, how many heat winners did he have on Saturday night? Was it
6 or 7 anyway?
It's just unreal what Droopy Sydney is doing. But behind him, I would say Pastana. I thought great thing. Maybe Pastana is just slightly the better one now. I haven't seen the figures lately, but is getting some top class pups, no doubt about it.
He's certainly taken off the last 2 or 3 weeks, and of course he already had the Kirby Memorial Champion as well, which we'll no doubt look forward to seeing later in the year. Yeah, a wonderful, wonderful competition down in Kilkenny. Worth pointing out that that final will be on Sunday night next, the 28th of May, run in conjunction with a big benefit there. Should be a huge crowd. If you can make it down to Kilkenny on Sunday night, well worth a visit. Last but not least, we're going to mention just briefly, I'm going to mention the Newbridge, Friends of Newbridge A1 Derby, because our good pal, Dylan Brennan, had a winner. The Lily White Assassin had a winner. Lightfoot Impact to show, thought he showed great tracking ability to slip around the inside. He was fourth or fifth into the corner. This is a dog you would have seen more as an early pacer. Showed great track craft to go to the front off the second bend. He went on to win by 2.5 lengths from All About Magic, who indeed ran well. Lost this chance on the opening corner, ran very well in defeat. And I thought Mendelssohn was an eye catcher back in third for Ger Hutton and Tommy O'Donoghue. They've had some really nice types together, including a classic success with Epic Hero. That was the first heat. The second heat went to Prince Lucius, who continued his unbeaten passage through the competition for Ollie Bray. He's very, very strong, only a number, led for much of the way, was picked up late. Russmore Shane grabbing third spot. Look forward to the final of the Newbridge Derby on Friday night. But gentlemen, I'm going to leave you there because we have covered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know, about 12 competitions at this stage. English Derby kicks off on Thursday. Lots to look forward to. We're down to 30 runners. Ballymac Shawnee has been withdrawn from Liam Dowling's team, but 30 runners. Declan, you feeling confident?
Yeah, which 30 is going to do it. I would be interested in I saw for the Irish Derby last year, so how he fares over there. But Tullygraven would be interesting. The early there undulation is doing some clocks, isn't he? Ballymac Marino, you just about experience, has enough experience for the fabulous dog. You know, Paddy McFinn is in. We have a lot of good dogs in it, but it doesn't always go to plan, as we know.
It doesn't always go to plan.
Hopeful more than confident.
Tommy, I hope you've had a fiver each way at 66-1 about Ballymac Jonjo.
Not yet. I haven't done a bet on it yet. But I'll tell you what I'll be doing. I'll have to back Liam Dowling to win or something because even though Declan's right about Ballymac and Marino, I love the dog. I think he's proper. He's the type of dog, right? We'll know after probably a round whether he's going to take the track at all in terms of or his experience is going to be lack of experience is going to be an issue or not. But I think at 20-1, I'll have to take a chance on him as well. Like you've all the value taken on Swords Rex, so I'll have to leave that to you.
I tell you what, from what I heard, maybe there's a lot of trumpet blowing, but there's a lot of people on at double the price that I'm on. I'm happy enough with my lot now. I'll be honest, I'm happy enough with my lot. But listen, it all starts on Thursday evening. We wish the very best of luck to each and every one of the runners, especially those coming from these shores. The very best of luck to all involved. Gentlemen, I think we've covered a lot here this morning. Well done to the Exile Dub Tommy Lyons, and of course the man in Shelbourne Park representing the Bible Sporting Press, again online from 8 p.m. on a Tuesday and available now in shops on a Wednesday. Declan, great Oaks to look forward to. No doubt I'll bump into you over the week. We'll see you Thursday, probably Friday and Saturday.
Yes, indeed. Okay.
Tommy, good luck. That's it from Talking Dogs on a Monday. We have a brilliant Sporting Press online edition Irish Oaks to look forward to. We've seen one round and only really served to whet the appetite. 48 of Ireland's very, very best will again be in action at Shelbourne Park on Saturday night. An occasion not to be missed. Why not get down to Shelbourne Park and enjoy some brilliant racing in the Oaks? That's it, though, from this Monday evening. We'll see you next time. Good luck, good evening, God bless.